Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the rare normal-type Pokemon Tandemaus, the Couple Pokémon, and its exceptionally rare evolution Maushold, the Family Pokémon. Quirky and simplistic in their forms, yet highly unusual in their behavior, the members of the Tandemaus family are bizarre creatures whose appearances do little to suggest the unique attributes to define their social natures and combat capabilities.
Tandemaus consists of a pair of mouse-like creatures with bright white fur, flat-bottomed feet, small hands with 5 digits on them, 4 fingers and an opposable thumb, as well as large round ears, thin tails that are often linked together with a rounded end, a small nose, black pinprick eyes, and small mouths that have a large pair of front incisors. Aside from this, it is further noted that these creatures have strangely patterned fur on their torsos, with one unit in this pair having darker fur on its waist and legs like pants, while the other has darker hair on its chest and arms like a shirt. The evolved form Maushold have almost the exact same look to them in terms of the main unit, their appearance not changing at all. What is different is that they typically have 2, or potentially just 1, smaller mouse-like units with smaller bodies, no shaded hair, and shorter tails that follow the larger units everywhere like children with parents. The members of the Tandemaus family, though seemingly of little interest or complexity, are actually the final result of a mysterious experiment that intended to create mammalian Pokemon that had the power to easily reproduce without the need of other Pokemon to do so, and the results were only a partial success. Fitting the white lab rat or mouse stereotype to the letter, these creatures are technically considered genderless, but they possess fur patterns that resemble human attire that indicates a male and female pair, with males tending to have pant-like markings and females shirt-like markings, indicating that they are only technically considered genderless because they are both genders at once as a pair starting off, and they never separate from their groups under any circumstances. In their specific case, it was hoped that by altering the way that their DNA is split and combined inside their egg and sperm cells, they could be given the capacity to reproduce without the need for other Pokemon to do so, thus allowing them to make more of their own kind without any outside help. However, the goal of this was for them to be able to clone themselves to make perfect copies. Instead, however, when they do manage to reproduce, they actually produce smaller offspring that grow in age just like their parents, but stay so closely bonded to their parents that they never leave their side, and instead signify an evolution from their base Tandemaus form into the evolution Maushold.
Because it did not produce the intended results, and more or less just resulted in the creation of freakish creatures that are unnatural in the eyes of some, and yet made them capable of having the population controlled by having them bunch up in groups of 2 to 4 members naturally, they were deemed to be safe and were released into the wild, becoming a native family for the Paldea region, rare as they still are.
While this might not mean much as far as the overall combat performance, it is noted that these beasts normally only ever make 2 clones of themselves, but about 1% of the time, a genetic flaw may result in only a single extra member being created, resulting in a family of 3 instead of a family of 4. It is further important to note that these creatures can take advantage of their unique unified state to deliver a signature attack called the Population Bomb attack, and while not incredibly powerful at first glance, its capacity to hit opponents up to 10 times in a row makes it a potentially devastating weapon for them to wield if luck is on their side.
As far as the abilities are concerned, the differences between the 2 members of the Tandemaus family are quite stark. On their own, Tandemaus tend to be very skittish and have a habit of searching for small gifts to give to their partner within the paired unit, having access to run away and pick up as base abilities, while some have bonds so strong with their individual units that they cannot be perturbed to the point of confusion, with their focus devoted to each other, having own tempo as a hidden ability. Maushold, on the other hand, tend to be protective of others like they are their own in multi-Pokemon battles, and are able to use their mouths to store food for the small units joined with them, having Friend Guard and Cheek Pouch as base abilities, while those able to use the smaller child units that are part of their personal group as more potent and offensive hurling weapons, can also have Technician as a hidden ability.
In regards to their stats, in the case of Maushold, while they might get access to some useful weapons on their own, these creatures do not really have much to offer in terms of impressive combat power, as their base speed stat is the only one that is above average for a fully evolved normal-type Pokemon, but they at least have access to some potent moves to make up for this somewhat. No matter what the circumstances might be, Tandemaus always stay together in pairs and never diverge from one another, using teamwork in everything they do in order to accomplish their goals. This helps these creatures immensely as they're not the sturdiest of beasts and tend to be quite weak on their own, and while pairing up doesn't necessarily make them a great deal stronger, it is more than enough to secure their safety whenever it is of dire concern. These pairs use their sharp incisors to work together to cut and chop apart any material they might find into small enough pieces for them to then carry the damaged goods back somewhere safe in order to make their nests. And because they tend to dwell near urban areas, they generally have nests made of hard materials like plastic and metal that, while a bit uncomfortable to some degree, are far stronger than other rodent nests and thus tend to last for a while in normal weather conditions. Even if the two manage to find some food, no matter which of the two might be hungrier, they always split it evenly between each other and eat it together in turn. In truth, there is very little that can be done to separate these pairs, and even if they can be physically, they exude such a unique scent that their partner can use it to trace and find them once again. As such, they can almost be seen as the poster children for cooperation, but it is still noted that when it comes time for these beasts to evolve, they tend to vanish unexpectedly, only to appear as smaller offspring. No one is quite sure how the process actually occurs, and it seems that these beasts are keen on keeping it that way. Although the exact way in which they reproduce is still a bit of a mystery to many, it goes without saying that if Tandemaus are meant to be the living definition of teamwork, then their evolved form Maushold are indeed the living representation of a family life. These creatures take good care of their smaller offspring as a unit, and tend to make much more elaborate nests than their pre-evolved form, in fact oftentimes resembling an actual house with distinct rooms for different functions like eating, sleeping, cleaning, and sometimes even entertainment. The smaller mice that are part of the group are usually too young to be out on their own and are often protected fiercely by their parents in battle, but if they are forced into a combat situation against a powerful opponent, the group will not be afraid to fight back together and deal with potential threats as a total family. This makes the group far more dangerous than they might appear initially, and they can make themselves a much bigger threat as a result of their unique tidy-up technique, which is exclusive to them and them alone, as it enables them to not only clean up and remove any potential field hazards on the battlefield, but also invigorate them and strengthen their bond as a family, increasing their attack and speed stats at the same time, helping to make these mice a far more potent threat than they might otherwise be.
These little mice might not exactly be the best material for winning serious battles in some cases, but they can make for quite the surprise if your opponent is used to just targeting one opponent at a time. Tandemaus really make the whole cute couple image work well, as it seems that they always manage to find a way to be together, even when it might be impractical. No matter the subject, whether it be food, resources, travel, what have you, these little critters will find any and all excuses to keep their lives and actions in tandem with each other. Their evolution into the familiar unit known as Maushold is equally just as unique, as these little mice that go with them just up the cuteness factor by several tiers in my book. Don't let their smaller forms fool you, though, as with 4 bodies at their disposal, these creatures can really make terrific use of the population bomb attack to strike many times over without any need for a break, oftentimes requiring you to think on your feet and hope that you can take whatever damage they can throw at you, lest their numbers game prove to be a bit too much to handle.
Though their biology might be more than a bit of a curious mystery for many, there is no doubt that the members of the Tandemaus family can prove to be quite tricky if you can't take them out directly. With exceptional teamwork born not just of biology but also of behavior, and more than able to put their sharp teeth to work, you best be worried about getting on their bad side.
So do yourself a favor and make sure you clean up after yourself around them, and don't try to separate the units from each other. Otherwise, they might just literally clean house and throw you out with the garbage as they see fit.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.